Yep.
Jobs probably wouldn't have needed to hire somebody like her.
No.
But in the new world that Apple finds itself in, we need a deep bench. We need personalities.
Yes, well, Jobs was a personality. He had charisma and he had sort of stage presence. And not to say that Tim Cook totally lacks all of those things, but I could certainly see Angela Ahrendts up there on stage at an Apple launch event, bringing something that Apple has possibly been lacking recently, which is that charisma and that accessibility and that glamour.
There's also something, I mean, she has a specific job, doesn't she? I mean, we understand from insiders that he approached her, or certainly they had a discussion, he wanted her, and then the title came afterwards. So this was a role created for her, but we've all been in a Burberry shop, we know what that looks like. They need to innovate the online and also retail experience at Apple.
Yeah, and Ahrendts has proved many times on many different levels that she's capable of, for example, capitalizing on technology, capitalizing on social media, to turn things around, to build a brand, and to do so in Asia, especially, which is a huge thing for Apple. I guess one of the risks is if this is more than just a title and she's given, I guess, ownership of the retail operation, especially the physical operation, she may encounter some of the obstacles that John Browett encountered last year. He only lasted 6 months in a retail-focused job, and it's not clear why he left, but there were rumblings at the time that he couldn't make changes easily on this almost cult-like phenomenon, which is the Apple Store and the people who work in these stores, who are a force unto themselves. And so that's something that Angela...
She brings charisma, though. She's much more persuasive personality, potentially, as a result. But it's almost as if he's creating a brains trust. He's creating something, because we don't know what so much of this new technology is going to deliver, how it's going to be used, how function and form are going to interact. So he's almost sort of creating a brains trust without a clear objective. The job title's almost irrelevant. It's kind of, how do we transition to the next phase?
Yes. And how will you sell things like wearables? How will you sell colour in technology? So, colour and technology only recently came together, the idea that tech is part of your look. I only recently discovered that, I thought I wanted a black smartwatch, now I'm wearing an orange smartwatch, that's more my colour. It's about, straddling those two worlds, and that's much bigger than just retail.
Actually, Sherry, I'd like, if we can, the camera to have a look at your watch, because is this the future also for Apple? This is a Pebble watch.
Yes, this represents the beginning of what a smartwatch can be. It's colourful, all different colours to choose from. It just takes messages off your phone via Bluetooth, so you don't have to take your phone out of your pocket to see if someone's texting you, for example. That's just the beginning. Pebble's going to take it to another place, another step further, and I'm sure Apple is a year at least ahead. It is in all other areas of technology, pretty much, fingerprint scanners and the rest of it. So, we're pretty sure that this is what Apple's working on, and when it has to sell those things in stores, it's already been radical in the way it's laid out technology in its stores and allowed people in. Yeah. It's going to have to be radical again if it comes to a whole new, much smaller type of technology.
Is it because, maybe as you hinted at earlier on, that Apple's become a little less innovative than it was in the past? Jobs was detailed, it was focused, everything has to be beautiful and perfect. That kind of attention has been lacking from the business, some would say. Is this an admission of that? Am I being too harsh on Cook?
I have down days on Apple, and here we've spoken. I've often been negative in the past when we've spoken, but it's still fair to say that Apple is at least 1 year ahead of the curve. It did that with 64-bit. No one else will have 64-bit until like a year in the future. Yeah. Fingerprint scanner is way ahead of any of the other attempts to do it. It still proves that it can cut cleanly through things that others are attempting, maybe even like what Pebble is attempting. It can take that and just take it to another level. So, since the iPhone 5S came out, the iPhone 5C came out, I'm taking a much more positive view on the company.
Very quickly, if we leave charisma and pizzazz aside that Angela Ahrendts is bringing to Apple, what does she concretely need to do? She's going to hit the job in July of next year, June or July of next year. What do you give her a year to turn around or to step up? Well,
I hope that she's not envisaging sort of a more calm, chilled out role as now that she's not going to be a CEO anymore, because I think she'll have to make a lot of trips to Asia and to China. Apple's still working on China Mobile, a carrier which has over 700 million subscribers on its network, all potential iPhone customers and store visitors, store visitors, and I'm hoping that will be a big part of her focus.